I'm 81 years old now. I know that because I check the calendar more than I used to, as if the numbers might change when I'm not looking. They don't. And lately, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I feel isn't pain or stiffness. It's the weight of everything I thought I was doing right. I live alone in a quiet house I paid off years ago. It's solid, comfortable, too big for me now. Some days I walk from room to room just to remind myself I still can. I thought owning this place would feel like a rival, like proof that all those years meant something. But most days it just feels like shelter for memories I don't know where to put. People used to say I was impressive, driven, capable. I liked that. I liked being the woman who never needed help, who always had a plan. I told myself I was building security, that I was being responsible, that everything I was doing was for later. Later came. It just didn't bring what I thought it would. I grew up watching my parents worry about rent, about groceries, about whether the car would start in the morning. My mother counted pennies at the kitchen table. My father worked until his hands were cracked and swollen. They loved us, but fear lived in our house like a permanent guest. I promised myself I would never live like that. In my 20s, I was already working more than most people I knew. I said yes to every extra shift, every opportunity. I told myself rest was for people who could afford it. I wore my exhaustion like a badge. When friends went out, I stayed in. When they traveled, I saved. When they talked about balance, I laughed. In my 30s, I married a good man. Not a dramatic love, but a steady one. He admired my ambition. He said he was proud of me. At first, that felt like love. We talked about the future like it was a shared project, a house, investments, retirement accounts. We were always planning, always aiming a few years ahead. We postponed things, trips, children, time. There was always a reason, always a milestone we wanted to hit first. I told myself it was temporary, that once we were comfortable enough, we'd slow down together. We never did. I missed dinners, missed weekends, missed the way his voice sounded when he wanted to tell me something small. He started doing things without me. I told myself that was fine. Independence was healthy, I said. But really, it was distance learning how to be quiet. When I was 42, I got the promotion I'd been chasing for years. Bigger salary, bigger title, bigger expectations. I celebrated with a nice bottle of wine, alone in my office after everyone had gone home. I remember sitting there, looking at the city lights, feeling proud and strangely empty at the same time. I ignored that feeling. I was good at ignoring things. The damage didn't arrive all at once. That's the part people don't tell you. It came in tiny moments, missed phone calls, canceled plans. Saying next time so often, it stopped meaning anything. Relationships don't usually break. They fade. My husband stopped asking when I'd be home. Eventually, he stopped waiting. We didn't fight much. There was no dramatic ending. Just two people living parallel lives under the same roof. When he moved out, it felt almost practical, like a business decision that made sense on paper. I told myself I was fine. I threw myself deeper into work. If I stayed busy enough, I didn't have to feel the quiet. In my 50s, I was successful by every measure I understood. Good income, respect, stability. People came to me for advice. Younger women asked how I did it all. I smiled and told them it was about discipline and sacrifice. I didn't mention what the sacrifices actually cost. My body started sending signals then. Nothing dramatic at first. Fatigue that didn't go away. A tightness in my chest I blamed on stress. Doctors told me to slow down. I nodded and went back to my desk. There were deadlines. Always deadlines. Friends started retiring, traveling, becoming grandparents. I sent cards, made donations, promised visits that never happened. I thought there would be time later. I always thought there would be time. The turning point came quietly, like most things in my life. A phone call on an ordinary Tuesday. My younger sister had died. Sudden, no warning. One day she was planning a trip. The next she was gone. I remember standing in my kitchen, holding the phone, staring at the wall. The room felt too clean, too unchanged. I realized I couldn't remember the last real conversation we'd had. The last time I'd truly listened instead of rushing her off because I had somewhere to be. At her funeral, people shared stories I'd never heard. Whole parts of her life I wasn't part of. I smiled and nodded and felt like a guest instead of a sister. That was the first time I understood something I didn't want to know. You don't get credit for what you intend to do later. You only get credit for what you show up for. I retired at 70, later than most. I told myself I wasn't ready before that, or maybe I was afraid of what would be left if I stopped moving. When I finally walked out of that building for the last time, people clapped. They gave speeches. They called me an example. I went home and sat on my couch and didn't know what to do with the silence. Money does what it promises. It keeps the lights on. It pays the bills. It buys comfort. But it doesn't sit with you in the evening. It doesn't remember your stories. It doesn't forgive you for being absent. Now, my days are slow. Painfully slow sometimes. I drink my coffee by the window and watch other people hurry past. I think about all the mornings I rushed through just like that, believing speed was necessary, believing stillness was laziness. I have acquaintances, neighbors who wave, former colleagues who send holiday emails, but there's no one who knows the whole shape of my life, no one who shared the ordinary moments. Those are the ones that turn out to matter. I don't regret wanting stability. I don't regret working hard. What I regret is believing that life could be postponed, that presence could wait, that love would understand indefinitely. If you're listening to this and you're younger than I am, I won't tell you what to do. I've learned that advice often arrives too late or lands too early. But I will tell you this: time doesn't announce when it's running out. People don't always ask twice, and the things you assume will still be there someday might quietly leave while you're busy building something else. I used to think success would feel louder, more satisfying. Instead, it feels like a well-furnished room with no one else in it. I'm grateful for what I have. I really am. I'm not bitter, just honest. Gratitude and sorrow can live in the same place. I know that now. At night, when the house settles and the lights are low, I talk out loud sometimes, not to anyone in particular, just to the version of myself who thought she was doing everything right. I tell her, I understand why she made those choices. I just wish she had looked up more often. If this meant something to you, if it touched a place you don't usually sit with, maybe let it stay with you for a while. Not as fear, just as awareness. As for me, I'll finish my coffee tomorrow morning. I'll water the plants. I'll keep living the days I have left, quietly, carefully. knowing now what everything cost.